Hi guys, welcome to my channel. I am Bearded Dev, and today we're going to be going through a spreadsheet tutorial, but we're going to be combining that with the phenomenon that is Pokemon Go. So there's an Easter event on at the moment offering double XP, and we're going to be looking at how we can calculate the maximum XP that we could gain in Pokemon Go. So what we're going to be covering are, we're going to be looking at some basic calculations, some if statements, and we're also going to look at ROUNDUP and ROUNDDOWN. We're going to go over to our spreadsheet product Microsoft Excel now, and we're going to work through some examples. So as we can see on my spreadsheet here, I've got a list of all the first tier Pokemon available in Generation 1 that I can evolve. I've got the number of Pokemon, that's how many Pokemon I've got available that I could evolve at the moment. I've got the amount of candy that I've got for that particular type, and the candy to evolve as well. So the first thing I want to find out is I want to know how many Pokemon I can evolve, particularly if I'm looking at using a lucky egg. I want to get the maximum amount of XP possible. So because it's double XP at the moment, our lucky egg will also offer quadruple XP as well. So we're going to start by looking first of all at how many Pokemon we can evolve. So I'm just going to put their head in here, how many can I evolve? And now we're going to write an if statement. So with an if statement you have a logical test, so does A equal A, and then we can have a value if true and a value if false. We'll go through an example of that now. So what I want to say first of all is if, and I open a brackets there to always start with the equals as well, so it's equals if, open brackets, it would be our test, then a comma, and what the value we want to return if it's true, and then a comma and the value we want to return if it's false, close brackets. So for example I could write if 1 equals 1, comma, value if true, true, and value if false, false. So there, that's just a quick demonstration. Doesn't really mean much at this stage, but it will become apparent. So we'll just get rid of that for now. So what we want to do first of all is I want to know if I've got, say, the amount of Bulbasaurs here, for example. I've got 3 Bulbasaurs at the moment. It costs 25 candies to evolve each Bulbasaur. So have I got enough candy to evolve those 3? So 3 times 25 is 75, but is that less than 108? In this case, yes it is, but I want to run that for every Pokemon. I don't want to have to go through them one by one. So again, I'm going to open with equals if. I'm going to open brackets, and I'm going to open brackets again because the first calculation I need to do is multiply the B column by the D column. So I'm going to put B2 multiplied with the asterisk symbol, not D4, by D2, and I want to find out if that is less than C2. If it is, I'm going to return yes, and if it isn't, I'm going to return no. And I'm just going to close my brackets there. So in this case I would expect this formula to work correctly and return the result as yes. Brilliant. But if we look at Charmander underneath, we can see we've got 3 Charmanders, and the amount of candy to evolve is 25, so that's 75, but we only actually have 73 candy. Now if I just double click on the bottom right hand corner, that will apply that formula to all rows on my spreadsheet. So we can see Charmander has returned no, which is correct. We haven't got 75, we needed at least 75 candies. Now what I want to return here, eventually I want to find out how many Pokemon I can evolve in total to find out how much potential XP I could get. So we don't want to return the word yes, that doesn't really mean anything to us. So what we're going to return instead is the number of Pokemon we've got. So if the number of Pokemon we've got multiplied by the amount of candy to evolve is less than the amount of candy we've got, we want to actually return the number of Pokemon because we can evolve that number of Pokemon. So I'm going to change the yes value to our B column. In this case we return 3. Again, I'm just going to double click in the bottom right hand corner, and that's going to apply it to all. So we can see now we're getting some numbers, and we can start running calculations to find out how many Pokemon we can evolve in total. However, as we can see, and we talked about earlier with Charmander, we can't do that. But we can evolve 2 of them, so we can't evolve all 3 that we've got, but we could still evolve 2. So we don't want to return no here, because we know that we can still evolve 2 of those Charmanders, so we still want to do that. So we're going to change the no argument, well, the value if false that's returned to us, and we're going to change that to have the number of candy that we've got, in this case in column C, and we're going to divide that by the amount of candy to evolve that Pokemon, in this case column D. I've just chosen the wrong rows there, apologies, I'll just correct that. So we've got the result as 2.92. I'll just drag that formula up and apply that to the rest of the results. So we can see we've got some decimal places. Now we can't actually evolve 2.92, so one thing I could do was change the format of the cells, so I could change the data type. Now I could change that to a number and have 0 decimal places, but if I do that, it now tells me I can evolve 3 Charmanders, which I can't. So in this case we don't want the rounding to be applied, so I'm just going to change that back to 2 decimal places for now. In fact, I will just undo, because then it won't change the actual numbers that we've got. So we need to change that 2.92, because it's less than 3, it needs to go down. And now we're going to introduce round down. So round down gives us the option that if it doesn't meet the next number, so in this case 2.92 is less than 3, it will always round down. So again, we're handling the value if false here, and we're going to write the keyword round down, and then we're going to open a bracket there. Now we also need to indicate, as we can see we've got on the screen here, we've got round down, the number, and the number of digits we want to round down to. In this case we don't want any decimal places, so that's going to be 0, and I'm just going to close the brackets there of that round down function, and if I click on enter we can see that's now gone to 2. Now I've got this warning here, it's just because it doesn't match the rest of the spreadsheet, so I'm just going to change that now, and we've now got that formula in all cells, and as we can see we're getting figures now for the amount of Pokemon we can evolve. Some I can't evolve, so Pikachu here, I've only got 36 candies, although I've got 2 Pikachus. I haven't got enough candy to evolve 1. Okay guys, so we've worked out how many Pokemon we can evolve. Now the next thing we want to look at is how many candies do we have left, because we don't want to waste those extra candies. It may mean we go out and catch more Pokemon. Now what we're going to look at now is calculating how many candies we've had left once we would have completed all these evolutions. So to do this, again, we're going to do a calculation, just a basic calculation here. So initially we're going to start off by multiplying the amount of candy we need to evolve by the amount of Pokemon we are going to evolve, each type in this case. So we're going to use 75 candies for Bulbasaur, for example, but we do have 108. So what we're going to do is use our 108 and take away the number of candies we're going to use. So if we run that now, so we could see for Bulbasaur, once I've completed my evolutions, I've evolved my 3 Bulbasaurs, I'll still have 33 candies left. Now I could evolve another Bulbasaur, which means I've got to go out and catch another Bulbasaur to make this worthwhile. I'm just going to double click and drag that down, and as we can see, for some Pokemon, Eevee in particular, Ghastly, we've got large amounts of candies left. So let's work out now what I could evolve if I went out and caught more Pokemon. So the potential XP I could actually gain. So the question now is, can I evolve more? And to calculate this, again, we're just going to work out a simple formula, which is going to be column F divided by column D, the candy to evolve. So again, it's just going to be equals, F2 is our row in this case, and we're going to divide that by D2. And I'm just going to double click to drag that down, and we can see we've got some quite high numbers here. We've got a 12 for Ghastly, 10 Eevees, Magikarp we've got 0.0075, so I don't think we'll be evolving a couple of Magikarps unless I go out and catch 100 over the next day or so. But again, we've got a problem. If we look at Bulbasaur, our formulas come back to say we could evolve another 1.32 Bulbasaurs, but we can't evolve 0.32 of a Bulbasaur. So again, we need to look at our round down function. So what I'm going to do is enter round down, if I can spell the word correctly. Again, we need to indicate the number of digits, in this case 0, and we're going to press enter to calculate that formula, and now we know we can evolve one more Bulbasaur. Now we're not going to continue and calculate how many candies we've got left and how many we can look at, but we can see straight away for Weedle, for example, I can evolve another 10 more, so I could do with going and catching another 10 Weedles. Again, further down, Ghastly, thanks to the Halloween event I've got quite a large amount of candy now, so I could go and catch another 12 Ghastlies. And with Eevee as well, Eevee evolutions are also quite exciting, so we could evolve 10 more Eevees. So now what we want to work out is how much XP we can get currently and how much XP we could potentially get if we went out and caught the Pokemon that we needed to do. So we're going to look at a formula here to say standard XP, double XP, and because we can put a lucky egg on, we could also get quadruple XP as well. And we'll have a look at current and potential. So to calculate our current standard XP, so standard per evolution, we get 500 XP. So we need to work out the sum of the E column, and we're going to do that over here because then we can always use this spreadsheet to add more Pokemon as more generations get released. I know Generation 2 is out at the moment as well, so that needs to be added to this spreadsheet. So to work that out, we're going to write equals sum. So we want to calculate the sum of a range. At this point it's going to start from E2, cell E2, and we're going to run this up to, we haven't got up to 1,000 rows, but we're just going to put 1,000 because then it makes it scalable. So at the moment we can evolve 79, we can do 79 evolutions in total, but then we want to find out how much XP we can get. So we need to multiply that by 500, and there we've got, so the sum of the column E range, and we're multiplying that by 500. So if I was just to do standard evolutions without a lucky egg or a double XP event coming on, this doesn't have to apply to double XP events, but it can just be used as a standard calculation. So we would get 39,500 XP. Pretty minimal in terms of leveling up now. So we want to calculate our potential XP. So what we can do for that, we want to look at our G column. So we're going to write again equals sum open brackets, and we're going to do G2 to G1000 as well, just so it's a bit more scalable for us. So potentially we could evolve another 80 Pokemon if we went out and caught them. Again, we're going to multiply that by 500. So a potential there of 40,000, but we also want to add that to the current. So I'm just going to tie that within brackets or parentheses, and we're going to also add to that K2, which is our current XP. So potentially we could get 79,500. Now to calculate double XP, pretty simple. All we're going to do is multiply that by 2, and then again we're going to multiply the double by 2. And if we drag those across, we can see our current state. So while the double XP event's on, if I was to pop a lucky egg, I'd receive 158,000 XP, but potentially I could get 318,000 XP. I really need to get out there and start catching some more Pokemon. So the last thing we're going to look at, guys, is the amount of lucky eggs we need. So lucky eggs, as we know, they last for 30 minutes at the moment. I believe they was increased during some event. So lucky eggs needed. So again, we need to use the sum of our current evolution. So again, it's the E column, and we're going to do our range up to 1,000. So we've got 79, and what we're going to do is base it on that we can do 60 evolutions per lucky egg. I believe there are some ways of getting more out of it, but for the purposes of this we're just going to use 60, so 30 seconds to evolve each Pokemon, 2 per minute. The lucky egg lasts for 30 minutes. So we're going to simply divide this number by 60. So to carry out all these evolutions we have got currently, we'd need 1.31 eggs. But again, we can't use 1.31 eggs. So what we're going to do now, we've seen round down before, but we're going to use round up. So we need to buy at least 2 lucky eggs. And they are on sale during this event as well. So again, we're going to round up. We've got our calculation there, and we're going to round up to 0 places. Okay, so then we've got 2 lucky eggs needed. Now I'm also going to quickly demonstrate a note here. So as part of this sheet I want to insert a comment just to say based on 60 evolutions per lucky egg. And we could also do the same with our potential as well. So again, let's have a look at our sum of our range in our G column. 80. We want to add that to the sum of our range in our E column. So we get 159. We will wrap that calculation within brackets, and we're going to divide that result set by 60. 2.65. Does that seem about right? I'll just take that off for the moment. Yes, yeah, so we can do 159 if we're doing 60. Yeah, so I'll add that back on, divided by 60. So 2.65. Again, we don't want 2.65, so we need to use our round up function. Round up, we're going to open brackets and put the whole thing within brackets. We want 0 decimal places, and there we go. I'm just going to remove that comment from there, so I'll just right click on that, delete comment, and add it onto our lucky eggs needed. So based on 60 evolutions per lucky egg. So we could always change that at a later date if we find a way to get more than 60 evolutions per lucky egg. So So that's the video, guys. As you can see with this current event, if I popped a lucky head and got my quadruple XP, I'd get 158,000, but that's a lot less than I could potentially get. As I've said, I need to go out now and catch some more Pokemon. I want to level up. I'm currently level 28, and I want to get to level 30 during this event, so I'm going to go out and catch some more Pokemon. This video is a little bit different to what I normally do. I do a lot of database work and some data analysis stuff as well, so I just wanted to go through some formulas in a spreadsheet program and combine that with Pokemon Go. So I really hope you've enjoyed that video, guys. If you do like videos like this, please do let me know in the comments below and I'll try to get more out. Don't forget to subscribe to the channel and click that notification button to be made aware of when I do upload videos. I've got my email address on there as askbeardeddev@gmail.com. I do have a blank version of that spreadsheet as well for anybody who wants it, and I'll probably put a link to the Dropbox in the details below. Thanks for watching.